apparently something like 1 in 3 men think they could take a point off of Serena or Venus Williams in tennis. There's one about all men sort of secretly think that if they got contacted by Winston Churchill to become like a general in the army, they would do fine. And then the big one is that all men think we could successfully land a commercial jetliner with no experience, as long as we had someone on the tower talking us through it. And, And I just thought that was a great topic to talk about, because I feel like delusion and being a man sort of go hand in hand. And I just wanted to get your thoughts on these, because you had an interesting story about one of these delusional fellas.
Well, yeah, it's a famous kind of internet story known as the Sky King.
Yeah,
which is it was back in 2018. This guy whose name I'm forgetting. Basically, he was an airplane worker, like a baggage handler, and it is quite dark, because this is basically how he ended up ending his own life. Was he hijacked an empty plane and took it on a joyride?
I wonder if it's still considered hijacking if there's no one on it and it's empty. Like, it almost feels like you just stole the plane. Then, you know what I mean? Like, Sorry to sort of bug you down with nomenclature there.
Well, yes, hijack. Well, I suppose because hijacking is like.
I picture, box cutters and what other improvised weapons do they use?
Not sure, but like heard the bomb in the shoe.
Yeah, supposedly you can make a bomb out of like shampoo and stuff. To do that. Yeah. Sorry, I'm interrupting.
Yeah. So Sky King, and then basically he took it on like a 45-minute. I think it might have been longer. I think it might have been like a couple of hours. Just joyride, just going through. Like, I think it was in sort of the Seattle region of America, and he was just going around, checking out all the wilderness, like going through, like he flew up to like the Mount Helena or something, which I think is the big mountain in Washington State, and then the whole time, you can go on YouTube and look it up, because the whole like recording of him talking to airline control was on, and it's funny but also chilling, because he's just so like laid back and like joking to the guy, and like basically just like, this is it, man. I'm not even gonna try to land this.
Did anything come out about why? I'm guessing his life was in the toilet and he had nothing to live for, that sort of thing, or was there?
People was kind of shocked. Yeah, people in his life kind of said it was kind of shocked. Like he had it was kind of dark. He had a family.
Oh, geez.
And he had a job. Okay. I think like I think like he had like a job, like a high paying job, and then lost it, and then became a baggage handler. Which was kind of like, sort of low income work. And that's kind of where he was. But because people said he was quite a well read guy, quite an intelligent guy.
I bet he read a lot of aircraft manuals.
Well, he taught himself effectively how to fly a plane. So
I don't think I would be stalling it. You're trying to drive a manual car. Like, I'd be trying to start the thing. I'd get into the cockpit, barricade myself in, and then I'd be like to the guy in the tower, like, how do I start this thing?
Imagine being in another plane about to take off, like, and you just look out the window and you just see like
one of the rockiest takeoffs you've ever seen.
You just see. Yeah, and then because it was one famous point where he asked the guy on the airline control, like, do you think I could do a barrel roll? And he's like, wouldn't recommend it. And then he does it anyway and pulls it off, which apparently, like, commercial pilots would say, like,
that's struggle.
Well, that's like an expert move. Like, that's like fighter pilot level sort of stuff. Like, and then he drove off into a mountain, and
I think I feel like I did hear about this. I didn't realize. I thought it was a pilot who did this, but I remember hearing about someone crashing a stolen plane or hijacked plane into a mountain. Again, dark humor, so apologies in advance, but I mean, what a way to go, right? There's a lot of ways to take yourself out. I read this book as a child. It's called The Saga of Darren Shan. It was a book about vampires, and one of the traditions of vampires, if you will, was to actually, like, when they knew they were on their kind of last legs, rather than just waiting to die, they'd go out and fight a bear or a wolf or something, and then let it end that way. I bet that sounds like a great idea right up until it's actually happening. Like, do you know what I mean? If you
you mean take it?
Well, like, let's say you want to take your destiny into your own hands. Let's say, and you want to go out in some spectacular way like that.
Like, I don't know whether I have the moral character to actually, I might realize when it's too late that actually, oh no, this is not a good idea at all. But like, let's say you go out and find a wolf or a bear or something, and you think, this is a hero's, this is a warrior's death. I'm gonna go to Valhalla, and you're like really hyping yourself up.
right up until that first bite, and then you're like, I've made a terrible mistake.
Well, this is a dark topic to take this down, but it's like someone who like has like tries to basically do a death by cop. Like in America, they're just they like do something obviously illegal to then, eventually. Yeah, this has gotten dark. Anyway,
dark, yeah. We apologize.
We'll put a trigger warning on that one.
Yes, I will. I'll chuck something in the description to let people know.
Yeah.
I guess the way we could sort of end on this is, are there any other delusions? Like, are there any things out there that you reckon you could do, like in a kind of like
the one I've always liked, like I think men always think that if we were in this like a bank robbery or like a mugging or something like that, I think that we would be able to like do some judo move and like put the guy down or something.
Well, I think like in America it's a big thing, like the whole good guy with a gun thing. It's
that
like,
whole big thing with their that's a big point for
like if someone comes in to rob the bank and they're just like, I've got my legal weapon on me, I'll be able to help them out.
AR-15 slung over my back as I walk into the bank.
I'm not not that you could even, I don't even think you could legally do that even in those states.
Yeah, I don't know. I've seen videos of guys that, again, this is playing a risky game, but they were walking around holding it because it was an open carry state, and I remember they were recording the conversations with the cop, and they were essentially saying, we're allowed to carry this around, and the cop's kind of being like, well, yeah, you're allowed to. I just want to make sure that you're not like, this isn't just before you do something with that sort of thing. Yeah. Like, I'm paraphrasing that a lot, but that was the gist of this whole thing there. But do you reckon that comes from the whole Western, like Clint Eastwood, Sergio Leone, like the gunslinger rescuing the town from the corrupt gang boss or whatever they were back in the day there.
I think a lot of it is too kind of just escapism.
Yes,
people, most people live quite boring lives, so it's like given that moment of like, someone needs to step up, they believe they'll be that person.
Have you ever had a moment like that where you did something exciting? Like, I think probably the most exciting thing I've ever done.
No, I've never done anything.
I've kicked the door in. That felt pretty manly. It was at my last 2 or 3 jobs ago now. There was a customer and I think a baby locked in the toilet. I mean, they were in no danger. Like they were just locked in like the staff toilets, and we could, the handle failed or something, and so couple of us, I'm sure we probably didn't need to kick the door in either. Like, I'm sure if we'd called a locksmith or something, they would have been able to sort it out. But, red-blooded young men, we were like, yeah, let's kick the door in. And a little tip for kicking the door in that I've learnt is kick it as close to the handle as you can, because the thing you're trying to make fail is that little piece that like stops. If you kick, you're never going to kick the hinges of a door off, I don't think. Because really all you need for that is that thing to bend, and then you can get the door open. So a little top tip there for the Hoss citizens out there. If you ever need to kick in a door, aim as close to the handle as you can. Because
I feel like if you're a Hoss in that situation,
everyone's going to look to you.
Everyone's going to look to you. I feel like, especially in a Hoss, there is anything like a dire physical need, like something heavy needs to be lifted. Your eyes are on you. Like if there's a doctor in the room and someone goes down with a heart attack, like that's your moment. Like,
isn't us?
No, so like if a Hoss, no. Hosses, not all, some Hosses are medically trained, not all of us.
Some dude just starts clutching his chest and falls down, and like the rest of the passengers on the plane are looking at us like, "Come on, lads, do something."
Well, they might be looking at us like, "It's going to be you next." Yeah. But one kind of like in terms of like male delusion. One way I kind of see it a lot is,
I feel like we have to call this episode "Male Delusion."
Male delusion, yeah. Is with physical sort of activity. Like say it's a guy. Say a guy thinks, oh yeah, I could totally just run a marathon with no training. And mentally, I'll push my way through it. It's just so like pain. It's mental.
It's just a mental game. It's all up in your.
It's all up in your head. Like no.
Apparently it's not. Apparently it's in your legs.
Yeah, I haven't run more than 2,000 meters in about 10 years, but I could finish a marathon tomorrow if I just decided. Wouldn't be fast, but I'd finish.
I had this exact Well, because is there an upper time limit for marathons?
Like, no.
They just have. you could really ruin someone's day by being the slowest, like, because they can't leave until you finish the marathon.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So
I think at one point they'll probably like check.
they call it,
or they'll get a doctor to be like, "Hey, buddy, like,
tap out.
it's not worth it." Yeah.
What was I going to say? I had this exact. So I've recently trying to get into cycling because I'm trying to be a little healthier and stuff. And so I bought a bicycle, and my last experience with cycling was probably 7 or 8 years ago when I was living in Japan, and I got a bike, and I was staying with my friend because I hadn't got an apartment yet. So we biked, like literally the same day I got the bike, we biked about 7 or 8 Ks from town where we worked to his house. No problem. Like I was tired, and like you've got the saddle sore and stuff like that, but like it was with zero bike training. I don't even think I was that fit at the time, and so I thought, biking's just easy. Like that's it. It's no fitness on my part or anything like that. I just thought biking was easy. And so I got this new bike, and I live close-ish to like a protected cycleway that I'm going to hopefully use to get into town. And so I thought, I got this bike for the first day. I thought, I'll just go for a short bike. I'll just go and see, I'll just bike maybe to the cycleway and back just to see how far it is. I still haven't gotten to the cycleway yet. I think it's about 4 or 5 kilometers to get to it. I can get up to about 2.5, and then I'm like, my legs are just done. And so that was peak male delusion at its finest, getting humbled by a bicycle.
Yeah.
Have you had any other experiences like that where you were swiftly humbled?
More just like trying to lift something heavy in the gym. Just being like, oh yeah, I could do this. I've blown my back out on a deadlift before.
I feel like being a horse and back pain tend to go hand in hand, right?
Yeah. The human spine was not optimally designed for the horse body type. I'll tell you.
I heard it in a comedy show once that it was like we were given a washing line, but we're trying to use it like a flagpole, and that's why we have back issues all the time.
Yeah.
And then I thought it was always just kind of a joke, but then I was literally listening to a doctor talking about this, and she basically said the same thing, like that we're using our back wrong, and so I've heard it twice now, so it must be relatively accurate. But because have we talked about back pain on the podcast before?
Maybe not. I think we spoke about it on the live podcast we did.
Yes, we did.
Go back and listen to that.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching this Hosstown clip. Why not watch another one while you're at it? You can watch full episodes of the Hosstown podcast here on YouTube, or you can find them on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcatcher. See you in Hosstown.